You're still broke even though you make decent money? Hmm. Let me ask you something. When you were younger and broke, like actually broke, how resourceful were you? Because I know I was incredibly resourceful. And don't act like you didn't grab a roll of toilet paper from a restaurant bathroom at some point. Oh, just me? Maybe you instead didn't steal toilet paper. Maybe you ate off the dollar menu and somehow made it feel like a meal, or figured out 10 different ways to stretch your $40 for 2 weeks. When you are broke and you have nothing, you get creative. You are locked in. But then something happens. You start making decent money. And slowly, quietly, without even noticing, you take your foot off the gas. And that's what we're talking about today. This isn't a video about being poor. It's about something sneakier. Finally making decent money and still feeling like you have nothing to show for it. The money comes in and it just feels like it disappears. And if that's hitting close to home, keep watching because I'm going to walk through exactly why this happens and what to actually do about it. Think about how your life looked in your early 20s versus today. Back then, for me, Taco Bell was a solid Friday night. Now, dinner out means appetizers, cocktails, maybe dessert. Most of the time, I'm picking up the tab, not even worrying about my friends Venmoing me back the difference. The toilet paper that used to be whatever was cheapest at the store now is the good stuff. I get it delivered. Why not? Just like $8 a month. This is called lifestyle creep, lifestyle inflation, whatever you want to call it. And it's completely normal and also completely silent. The problem isn't that you're buying nicer things. The problem is that every single category of your life got upgraded and all at the same time. And nobody seemed to send you a memo. Your subscriptions, your groceries, your coffee situation, your skincare, your I deserve this purchase, your this saves me time purchases, they all crept up together and your paycheck just sort of absorbed it. And yes, inflation is also real. And I want to be honest about that. Depending on where you live, everyday essentials have gotten meaningfully more expensive. And if you're in a high cost of living city like me, you know this in your bones. Groceries, rent, gas, it's not your imagination. It is more expensive. But, and this is the important part, inflation doesn't account for all of it. Some of it is just you living bigger without realizing it. Let's ground this in some real numbers for a second because I think context matters. These numbers are back from 2024, so keep that in mind. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, which is about as reputable as the source as it gets, here's what the median American worker actually earns right now. If you are 20 to 24, the median is around $41,000 a year. Ages 25 to 34, $59,800. Ages 35 to 44, the median jumps to around $70,000, and it peaks at the ages of 45 to 54, and that bracket being about $71,600. And if you look at household income, meaning you and a partner, if you have a partner, the Census Bureau puts a national median at about $83,000 as of 2024. These are national numbers. If you're in New York, San Francisco, Boston, Miami, you know these don't reflect your reality because the cost of living really does vary enormously by city and state. But the numbers give you a benchmark of what other people are making. They help you ask, where am I relative to this? And more importantly, am I doing anything intentional with the gap between what I make and what I want to spend? If you're in a relationship, I have to talk about this because it might be the most important part of the video. Money fights are the leading causes of relationship strain, and a lot of them aren't even about big things. They're about the accumulation of small, misaligned decisions. For example, one person's cutting coupons at the grocery store, the other person's grabbing the organic yogurt without even a second thought. One person thinks a weekend trip is a treat. The other thinks it's completely irresponsible because the credit card balance is just piling up for the two of them. If you're not on the same page about money, you're essentially rowing in different directions, and that is going to really hurt you. My husband and I do something really simple, but honestly, kind of a game changer the last few years for us. We plan the year together, not in a spreadsheet, obsessed, joy-killing way, even though that would be really fun for me. It's not for him. Just a conversation about what's actually coming up and what's important to us. For example, a friend's wedding in Mexico, a car that needs new tires, a milestone birthday, a trip we've been talking about. When you see the year laid out in front of you, it helps you guys make decisions together that you don't want to spend the random $300 on that spending decision that just came up because you know that $300 is coming out of something you both actually care about. It really aligns the year ahead. Our biggest splurges, just FYI, are dining out, motorcycles, and travel. So we protect those and everything else gets evaluated against them. And we're not always perfect about it, but we're working on it. Now let's get into the practical part because that is where the real money is hiding. Every quarter, not once a year, not when you think about it, I do a full review of where our money is going. And every single time I find something. For example, subscriptions. Do you actually need 4 streaming services? Be honest, one of them you probably haven't opened since the show you watched ended. That's $20 to $40 a month you're not using and also could be saving. Insurance and recurring bills, most people never call to renegotiate and companies count on that. Car insurance, home or renter's insurance, internet, these are all negotiable more often than people think. And one call could save you hundreds. I saved a few $1,000s on my home insurance. So don't forget that one. Credit card perks. This one's underused and essentially free money. Look at the cards you already have. A lot of them start changing their benefits throughout the year. And so you might already be paying for these benefits and not using them. One of my credit cards includes free grocery delivery as a benefit. So not only does it save me time, but it saves me money. Otherwise, I'd be spending on delivery fees. And honestly, when I go to the grocery store, I kind of overspend. Go read your card benefits this week. You might be surprised what's sitting there. Then there's the $20 problem. This is the one that gets people. It's typically not the big purchases that wreck the budget. It's the 15 small purchases that nobody tracks. A ride share here, a random Amazon add-on there, a lunch out when there was food at home. $20 doesn't feel like anything, but $20 12 times a month is $240. Over a year, that's nearly $3,000. Well, you wondered where your money went. There you go, and that's just a small example. Here's one of the fastest fixes available to you. Automate your saving and investing before you can spend it. The reason most people don't save isn't because they don't want to. We obviously all want to save. It's that they pay everything else first and save whatever's left. And whatever's left is usually nothing because of our lifestyle creep and all the other things we're spending money on. So flip that order. Set up an automatic transfer to savings or investments the day after your paycheck hits your account. Even if it's a small amount to start, it's a start. You'll adjust to living off what remains far faster than you think, and future you is counting on present you to do this. If your employer offers a 401k match, you're not taking the full match. That is free money you are leaving on the table. And this is just one place where I will get on my soapbox at a minimum, contribute enough to get the full match. These are just two really simple things you can do. And I want to zoom out for a second because I don't want this video just to be about cutting costs. Money should be a tool. It should be about buying you more of the life you actually want, more experiences, more time with people you love, more security, more options. And the risk isn't that you're enjoying your life. The risk is that you're spending money on a version of your life that you never consciously chose. The subscriptions, the upgraded everything, the defaulting to eating out, none of that was a deliberate decision. It just happened. So I want you just to think about what you actually want to be spending your money on and go ahead and spend it there. And if your spending doesn't reflect your actual priorities, you end up feeling like you have less even when you're making more. This disconnect is exhausting and it's fixable. So here's what I want you to actually do this week, not someday, preferably this week. 1, write down the 3 things you want your money to do for you the next 12 months, the next year. 1 goal, be specific. Number 2, if you're in a relationship, have the conversation. Get on the same page about what's coming up this year and what you both actually care about spending money on. And number 3, pull up your last 2 months of bank and credit card statements and just take a look. No judgment, just see where the money is actually going. Does it align with what you just said in number 2 is important to you? And 4, cancel 1 subscription you forgot about. Do it right now if you can. And 5, check your credit card benefits page. See if there's anything you're already paying for with the annual fee, but that you might just not be using. You are resourceful when you had nothing. You can absolutely be intentional now that you have something. The goal isn't to go back to stealing toilet paper. The goal is to make sure the money you worked hard for is actually working for you today and in the future. Drop a comment telling me what your biggest spending blind spot is. Real money questions answered honestly. No pretending like I've always had it together.